whenever you have occasion to send a card, remember a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show. And here she is, that lovable lady of stage, screen, and radio, Charlotte Greenwood.
Hello, friends. I'm Frankie Greenwood. Today we tell a story of a young woman who wins her way into the hearts of people.
You know, you've certainly won your way into the hearts of the people of Lakeview. In the words of Julius Caesar, you came, you saw, you conquered.
Thank you, Oscar. In my day, the young men I invited to call on me weren't so well versed in Julius Caesar.
What do you mean, Mrs. Greenwood?
They came, they saw, and they beat it. And it isn't Mrs. Greenwood, it's Miss Greenwood.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're sorry.
Friend Charlotte Greenwood has as her special guest today the distinguished star of stage and screen, Mr. Edward Arnold. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show is brought to you this Sunday and every Sunday at this time by the makers of Hallmark greeting cards to remind you that whenever you want to remember someone, you'll find a Hallmark card that says just what you want to say, the way you want to say it. So when you choose a card, look on the back for the identifying name Hallmark. Yes, don't forget, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. And out of the little town of Lakeview, where Aunt Charlotte is raising the three Barton youngsters, little Robert and teenaged Barbara and Jack. The family is having Saturday morning breakfast, as Robert says.
Jiminy, Aunt Charlotte, these pancakes sure are swell. Where'd you learn to make them so good?
I went to one of the first cooking schools ever opened, but it was such a strain I had to give it up.
Well, what was a strain?
Carrying 3 cookbooks and a stove to class every morning.
Oh, Aunt Charlotte, look at Robert's plate, will you?
Yeah, Barbara. All he needs is a mask and he can play life raft with those pancakes.
When they start to float in the syrup, that's when I like them real good. But really, Robert, you shouldn't have so many pancakes on your plate at one time. Oh, gee, who do you think you are? The Emily Post around here?
She's the Emily, I'm the Post. Jack, your pancakes are getting cold, darling. What's bothering you?
Well, I just don't feel like eating. Oh, it's that big basketball rally tonight.
Well, is being chairman of the arrangements committee too much for you?
Oh, we're stuck, Aunt Charlotte. I'm just ashamed of the showing we're going to make. Gee whiz, last year when the game was in Mound City, they threw some rally for us. You should have seen the chow they dished out.
Well, what has Mound City got that Lakeview hasn't in the way of food?
Well, that's just it, Aunt Charlotte. We haven't got anything. The school's cafeteria is still closed, so how are we going to throw a feed for them?
Well, I don't see why you have to stuff yourself silly in order to play a game of basketball.
No, you wouldn't. You don't understand the whole deal. Unless it's love, you girls don't know the score.
I know the score, but the game is almost over.
Aunt Charlotte, Jack's not going to eat his pancakes. Well, can I?
Well, I don't know how you can, but if you can, you may. Company so early. Finish your breakfast, children. I'll go. Why, Mr. Reynolds, of all people, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Greenwood. I'm sorry to break in on you so early, but I just stepped off the 729 from Mound City, and I've got a very busy day ahead of me at the office. I've got to check with the deputy sheriff immediately. We're serving subpoenas this morning.
Oh, we're serving pancakes. Won't you join us?
I'm sorry, Miss Greenwood. I can't spare a moment. My desk is piled high with briefs that are clamoring for my attention. I can't stay.
Oh, that's very disappointing.
Well, besides, I have to get a friend of mine a Christmas present. I'd like to get him something for around the house.
How about a picket fence, huh?
Miss Greenwood, I just stopped by to see if you'd be home. As attorney for the Barton estate, it is my duty to keep close tabs on its financial status. Tonight, I wish to discuss with you the whole question of the lunchroom. I understand there have been some mighty strange goings-on in connection with the boxed lunch service.
Well, orders are starting to come in from offices already.
Well, they'll have to do better than come in. They'll have to pour in before I'm impressed.
They will. Now, you wait and see. People have to eat 3 meals a day.
Well, I don't.
Well, you've got a lot stored up.
Wait a minute. Why am I laughing? Miss Greenwood, whether or not people have to eat, they apparently haven't yet connected this idea with the Barton lunchroom. And it's your responsibility to make money.
I could make $10,000 by writing. There's only one catch.
What's that?
I can stand Jack Benny.
Nevertheless, Miss Greenwood, I shall be over tonight to check on the figures for the lunchroom. Goodbye, Miss Greenwood.
Goodbye, Mr. Reynolds. Finish your breakfast, children?
That sounded like Mr. Reynolds, Aunt
It
Charlotte.
was, Barbara. He's coming over tonight to go over the account.
Well, gee, Aunt Charlotte, are you worried about that?
Well, I'm not exactly looking forward to it with the same young flush of enthusiasm I experienced on my first date.
When was that?
I'm not telling. I'll give you a hint, though. At the time, I was too young to forget it, and now I'm too old to remember.
Aunt Charlotte, I can't see why the bank had to appoint Mr. Reynolds to handle the estate anyway. Why couldn't you do it?
Yes, Aunt Charlotte. Seems to me every banker should come running to you. Oh, you've got a wonderful head for business.
Oh, but the rest of me is bankrupt.
Oh, that old Reynolds is such a tough lawyer.
Yeah, Aunt Charlotte. Just exactly what is he supposed to do?
Well, he starts by asking questions, and what he does depends on the answers.
But, gosh, the lunchroom's only been open since September, and with Sylvester in there giving it the old college try, we can't miss.
Old Reynolds will have to admit that lunchbox deal you started is pretty sharp.
Old Reynolds, as he's so fondly known in this family, doesn't have to admit anything. We're the ones who are on trial, financially speaking. And it's that lunchbox service that's going to affect the decision.
Say, maybe we ought to do some advertising. You know, get a slogan or something.
As a matter of fact, I saw an advertising man the other day.
Or did he come through with any ideas?
Yes, but it's strange how that business of making up slogans is beginning to affect him.
What do you mean?
He walked out of the office backwards.
Aunt Charlotte, you don't have to let the lunchroom get you up in the air.
Oh, it's not the lunchroom that gets me up in the air. It's these long legs.
You seem to forget I'm taking a course in business administration, and, well, I've been discussing the box lunch service with Sylvester.
Well, what have you been talking about?
Well, I'd rather not discuss it in front of the children.
Well, thank you, dear, for the help. But right now, I've got to go and get Robert some shoes.
Oh, well, I'll meet you at the lunchroom later.
Well, Jack can take us all downtown. That is, if the Barton Super Special isn't still in small parts scattered generously over the garage floor.
Oh, gee, I had to put a new muffler on the exhaust, didn't I? You could hardly hear the old one.
You mean you could hardly hear yourself over the old ones? Now, who? Why, Matilda Hamilton.
We've been shopping, Mrs. Hamilton.
Oh, so have I, Robert. My, Charlotte, aren't the stores crowded? Why, everybody in the world was in Sears Roebuck.
Except Montgomery and Ward.
When I got to the stocking counter, there was nothing left to showcase.
Yeah, why didn't you buy it?
So what do you think I've got in this large package?
Well, you'll never guess what I've got in this package. Ski pants.
Now, not for you.
And what a time I had getting them. I went to store after store after store. I never covered so much territory in one stretch.
No, well, neither will those pair of ski pants.
As a matter of fact, they did need a little alteration. I had 3 tailors working on me at once.
3 tailors?
Mm-hmm. One at my feet, one at my waist, and one at my shoulders.
Heavens, did they get in each other's way?
No, the fellow that was working on my shoulders was on the 2nd floor.
Oh, Charlotte, I'm so glad I ran into you today. You see, we were supposed to have our annual meeting of the State Garden Club tomorrow afternoon in the auditorium.
Oh, you wanted me to do something about that?
Oh, no. It's just that, something's gone wrong with the furnace.
Oh, and that's why you're glad you ran into me?
Yes. Oh, I mean, no. That
Can you
is...
fix furnaces, Mrs. Hamilton? As good as Sylvester?
Sylvester?
Yeah. Well, why the blank look, Matilda? You know Sylvester.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, he's running the lunchroom for us, remember?
Oh, yes, the lunchroom. That is... Well, you see, now, we'll have to postpone the garden club meeting until a week from tomorrow. Well, yes, well, I must speak to Sylvester, but I just wanted to tell you, but I've got to run along now. You know, the school board meeting this afternoon. Well, oh, dear, things are just too much.
Well, Matilda, what is it you're trying to tell me?
Tell you? Nothing. Honestly, if I ever get through this day, Charlotte, I'll just have to call you later. Goodbye.
Well, it's nice seeing you, Matilda, and so enlightening.
Are there any customers in the lunchroom?
No, Robert, can't say we look very prosperous. Let's go in and see what Sylvester has to say.
Hello there.
That's a good beginning. Hello there, Sylvester. How was the over-the-counter business today?
It was better.
You mean better than yesterday?
No.
Better than last week?
No.
Better than what, Sylvester?
Better not go into it.
I see. Well, didn't the children like your new sandwich spread?
I don't know.
Didn't they say whether they liked it or not?
Didn't say they didn't.
Yes. Well, coming from you, that means they love it. I'm so glad, Sylvester, because so much depends on making the lunchroom a success.
Yes, I guess it does. Bought an order of paper plates.
Are they working out all right?
Pretty good. Yeah. Takes time, though, to wash and iron them.
Yeah. Wash and iron them? Sylvester, where did you get that idea?
Been subscribing to a magazine.
What magazine?
How to get rich quick in a hurry.
Yeah, I see.
Tells how the success of a business depends on cutting down expenses.
Yes, well, what have we done about it?
Cancel the magazine.
Yeah. Well, now we're getting somewhere. Sylvester, tell me about the box lunches. Any more orders? We were up to 20 daily orders, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Well, don't tell me it's dropped.
No.
You mean it's gone up?
Yes.
Well, Sylvester, why didn't you say that in the first place? What's it gone up to?
120.
120? How did it jump 100 overnight?
Special order.
Special from whom?
Miss Barbara.
Barbara? Oh, please, Sylvester, I'm in no condition.
That's what she told me. I thought it was your doing.
She told you what, Sylvester? Well, it looks like we're getting a customer.
That's no customer. That's Barbara.
Well, now maybe I can get to the bottom of this.
Oh, you're here already. Has Sylvester told you, Aunt Charlotte?
Well, it depends on what you mean by told.
But didn't he tell you about the 100 extra box lunches?
Yes, dear. What are they for?
The State Garden Club meeting tomorrow.
Garden Club meeting?
Oh, wasn't it smart of us, really? I read about the meeting in the paper, and of course I knew Mrs. Hamilton was president of the Lakeview chapter. So Sylvester made up the sandwiches, and then
made up the sandwiches and everything.
You mean the 100 lunch boxes are all made up?
Yes. No use waiting. I had time this morning.
Well, Aunt Charlotte, what's the matter?
Well, no wonder Matilda Hamilton was in such a dither. Why, the poor thing was trying to get up courage.
Courage? For what?
Well, you see, dear, the club meeting is postponed for a week.
Postponed? Oh, Aunt Charlotte, you were so concerned about the lunchroom, and all I wanted to do was help, and I told Sylvester to go ahead and... Oh, now look what I've done.
It was a wonderful idea, Barbara. It isn't your fault that the furnace in the auditorium broke down.
Oh, but Aunt Charlotte, what will Mr. Reynolds say to you tonight when he finds out what happened? He'll close up the estate, and he'll take it out of your hands. Aunt Charlotte, Sylvester, what are we going to tell Mr. Reynolds?
I don't know.
The question isn't what we're going to tell Mr. Reynolds. The question is, what are we going to do? And I do have an idea about that.
With Christmas only 8 days away, this is the last call to last-minute card shoppers. Yes, for there's so little time to select your Christmas cards, address, stamp, and mail them to reach your dear ones before Christmas. Surely on Christmas Eve, you won't want anyone you know to feel you've forgotten, neglected to send a card. And that's why you'll want to call at your Hallmark dealers tomorrow. There's still a selection of beautiful Hallmark Christmas cards to choose from. Cards for every member of the family. Clever little cutout designs for the children. Special Christmas cards for sweethearts or for special friends. And gay, humorous cards. And, of course, there are lovely Hallmark cards that reflect the deep spiritual beauty of Christmas. In every Hallmark Christmas card, you'll find distinctive charm, originality. And whatever Christmas wish you have in mind, you'll find a Hallmark card that says just what you want to say, the way you want to say it. So, first thing tomorrow, drop in at your Hallmark dealers and make your selection of fine Christmas cards. And when you do as your friends will do. Look on the back of your cards for the name Hallmark. That Hallmark name tells your friends you cared enough to send the very best. Yes, always remember, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show. Barbara's good intentions in boosting sales for the lunchroom have backfired. For the 100-box lunches made up for the Garden Club meeting seem destined to go to waste, as the meeting has been suddenly postponed. Now, looming before Aunt Charlotte is the ordeal of facing the uncompromising Mr. Reynolds, attorney for the Barton estate. Charlotte has already put a plan into action which she feels will work, providing she has enough time for it to work before Mr. Reynolds really gets down to cross-examining her about the lunchroom. But at this very moment, Mr. Reynolds is standing at the door.
Oh, Mr. Reynolds, do come in.
Thank you, Miss Greenwood. Miss Greenwood, isn't that a new doormat you have outside?
Yes, Sylvester made it.
Well, why does it say ceremony instead of welcome?
Well, that's so when anybody comes to the door, he can say, "Come right in. Don't stand on ceremony."
Miss Greenwood, we might as well get right down to business. I'm here to discuss the matter of the lunchroom.
What about the lunchroom?
Well, from what I've heard, that is from people who know you and the little I've seen of the house, I'm quite willing to believe in your competence as a parent. As a mother, you've been great. Simply great. In fact, grand, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I'm a great-great-grandmother. I know what you mean.
Miss Greenwood, you must understand such competence is not necessarily the best qualification for successful business enterprise.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear you say so, because it confirms my own judgment. I put Sylvester in charge of the lunchroom.
Yes, yes, and that's precisely why I'm here tonight. I've heard something about a box lunch service he's running for you.
Oh, it's a very worthy service, Mr. Reynolds.
Worthy? Good grief, woman. Business is not for sentimentalists. To the victors belong the spoils. It's the age-old law of the jungle.
Oh, then I do fit in. When I was a child, my mother used to call me her little kangaroo.
And what did she call you when you grew up?
Her big kangaroo.
Miss Greenwood, you tickle me.
I will if you let me get a feather out of my hat.
Miss Greenwood, I wish you wouldn't distract me. The point is, I don't believe the town can support a box lunch service. According to my figures, you're up to the grand total of 20 lunches a day. Miss Greenwood, who keeps your books for you?
Everybody I lend them to.
Well, that has nothing to do with the case. Now, as you know, I carry a lot of weight with the bank.
You carry a lot of weight without the bank.
Oh, women have absolutely no sense of business. I knew a woman once.
Now, Mr. Reynolds, let's both stick to the facts.
Why not? After all, we're both stuck with our figures. Now, Miss Greenwood, about the box lunch service, I'd like to know exactly what...
Oh, the door chime, excuse me.
Well, that may be for me. I'm expecting Oscar, the boy from the office, with some papers.
Hello, Miss Greenwood. Is Mr. Reynolds here?
Yes, Oscar, come right in.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Reynolds.
Did you bring those papers?
Right here, sir.
Thank you. That'll be all, Oscar.
Oscar, are you going to be a lawyer, too?
Well, yes. I was studying law at night school, but I flunked out.
Why?
I couldn't read in the dark.
That'll be all, Oscar.
Yeah, I guess I better go. I'm overdue with the justice of the peace.
Yeah, so am I.
That'll be all, Oscar.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Now that we've got the papers, let's get down to business.
Oh, excuse me.
If that's that confounded Oscar back again,
Why, Janet Gregory, come in.
Thank you, Miss Greenwood.
And Gertrude Gleason. Well, by all means, come in.
Oh, Miss Greenwood, we're on our way to the basketball rally, and it's going to be peachy-weechy. It actually is. We have to hurry, so we can't stay but just a minute. We really can't. I really mean it.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, and this time I really mean it.
Oh, is that Mr. Reynolds in there?
Yes, come in. Mr. Reynolds, you remember Janet, don't you?
Oh, how do you do, Counselor?
Oh, how do you do, Janet?
Oh, Mr. Reynolds.
Oh, you remember Gertrude Gleason?
Hello, Mr. Reynolds.
Hello. Janet, last time I met you, I didn't get a chance to ask if you...
Oh, just say the word, Counselor. Oh, Mr. Reynolds, I saw you in court last week.
Yes. Now, Miss Janet, as I was about to ask you...
Oh, it was really peachy-weechy the way you spoke to the judge and all those peachy-weechy Latin words. It really was. It was really. You were much too smart for him. You really were. Otherwise, he wouldn't have thrown the case out of court.
My dear Miss Gleason, ipso caveat mandamus ipso facto.
What does that mean?
Don't go away.
Well, as long as you said it in Latin. Miss Greenwood, I guess we'd better run along.
Are you sure you can't stay any longer?
He's sure.
Well, goodbye.
Goodbye, Counselor. Maybe next time.
Yes. Miss Greenwood, we've got to discuss that lunchroom. There's one question you've got to answer tonight. And if we have any more interruptions, I'll scream.
Hello there.
Mr. Reynolds is a little squeamish about interruptions, if you don't mind.
Now, wait a minute, Sylvester. You're just the man I want to see. You're in charge of the lunchroom, aren't you?
Yeah.
How are those lunch boxes going?
Yeah.
Yes, what?
Yes, sir.
Will you answer my question? How are those lunch boxes going?
My delivery boy.
How many? How many?
One boy.
How many lunch boxes?
As many as he can carry.
Will you please let Sylvester answer? He was down there today. He'll tell me how many orders went out, won't he?
Really?
Should I?
Can he?
I don't know.
Oh, good. What do I have to do around here to get some information?
Dial 113. Run along, Sylvester.
Bye there.
Now to get back to those lunch boxes.
Oh, I'm so sorry for all these interruptions.
Yes, and if you don't mind, I'd like to get down to some business.
Would you suggest we start from the beginning with all these interruptions? Why, they're coming our way, isn't
Miss
it?
Greenwood, I'm a man of great patience, but there's a limit. Now look here,
But keep it then, Charlie. Am I proud of you? Oh, hello, Mr. Reynolds. And Charlie, listen to the gang. Just listen to them. You see? They're calling for you, Charlie. Would you say just a few words to them from the window out here?
Hey, a few words. What are you going to speak
Oh,
on?
I'll speak on and on and on.
What is this nonsense anyway? What's more, I ask you, are you or are you not going to get down to business?
Mr. Reynolds, I'm going to do precisely that. Jack, open the window.
And, Charlotte, I just want to say this, and I'm speaking in behalf of the whole student body. We want to thank you officially for your donation of the box lunches. You've made this the swellest rally that's ever been thrown.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Boys and girls of Lakeview High, the honor is mine. And it's a very big honor because it's in keeping with the size of Lakeview's traditional hospitality and sportsmanship. Now that we've shown Mound City a sample of our hospitality, let's show them a sample of how we play basketball. Remember, I'm right behind you, and I'll stay behind you because if I got in front of you, you couldn't see the game. So get in there and pitch, and I know you'll win.
Very interesting, Miss Greenwood. So that's the story. You're giving away box lunches.
100 of them, Mr. Reynolds.
100? And you call yourself a businesswoman? Why, it's utterly preposterous.
I did it because of my interest in those young people. I'm afraid I can't successfully explain it to you, Mr. Reynolds.
No? Well, nevertheless, Miss Greenwood, I wish you wouldn't extend your hand to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Well, I wish one of them would ask me for it. But the point is this, Mr. Reynolds. The garden club meeting was postponed, so I decided those box lunches had to be put to some good use.
But to give them away proves that as a businesswoman you're pretty non-compass mentis.
Oh, thank you.
For what, non-compass mentis?
No, for the pretty.
Oh, now what?
See who that is, Jack.
Another delegation, I suppose. This time to thank you for giving away the lunchroom, I
Well,
suppose.
we'll know soon enough if it's who I think it is, and it better be.
Oh, you wonderful woman, Eugenia, Charlotte. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were busy.
Hello, Matilda. You know Mr. Reynolds, don't you?
Good evening, Mrs. Hamilton.
Of course I do. Aren't attorneys the handsomest man?
Well, some of us are, yes.
And once I went out with a young lawyer. He was a junior partner.
I bet you made quite a couple.
A junior partner and a senior miss.
Charlotte, I must tell you, it works like a charm. A positive charm. Such an idea.
Oh, tell Mr. Reynolds all about it, dear. He's been so patient.
Well, it's really quite simple.
So I noticed.
My husband, the mayor, has been telling me what a problem the school has had in providing decent lunches for the children.
Yes, yes.
No cafeteria equipment, you know. So I simply went to the board this afternoon and told them the facts, that's all.
What facts?
About the 100 lunch boxes we put up.
Yes, don't you see? When the school board heard that it could be done so quickly and so well, that's all.
All what?
All everything, if you follow me.
How can anybody follow you?
Well, the Indians did. This has finally convinced the board that the lunchroom can handle the school business on a daily basis.
Oh, Miss Greenwood. I guess I have been a little hasty. You not only have shown a fine public spirit, but you obviously have put the lunchroom on a paying basis. Now, it seems to me you'd make an excellent lawyer yourself.
Well, I doubt that, but I would like to have someone near to me in law.
You would?
Yes, a father-in-law or a mother-in-law.
Oh, Miss Greenwood. You know you have a new wrinkle on everything. Whatever you touch turns into gold. Say, what are you doing?
Touching a new wrinkle on my ring finger.
Charlotte Greenwood will be back in a moment. Meanwhile, may I remind you again, the next time you buy a card for any occasion, look on the back for the identifying name Hallmark. Hallmark. Like sterling on silver, the word Hallmark is your assurance of finest quality. It tells your friends you cared enough to send the very best. Yes, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness. And our Charlotte Greenwood.
Friends, I glanced out through my window as the darkness came last night, and I saw an outdoor Christmas tree, ablaze with colored lights. A tree I'd seen 1,000 times, and yet it seemed to me I'd never really seen it till it was a Christmas tree. Now I wonder if it's like that with a lot of things we know, if we sometimes never see them till some light sets them aglow. Our friends, for instance, grow as staunch as any tree could stand. We know they're always ready with a strong and helpful hand. And yet of friendship's beauty we are often unaware, because just like my neighbor's tree, our friends are always there. So this year, make your friendships glow with lights and colors starred, with what makes friendships glorious, a Hallmark Christmas card. And now, until next Sunday at the very same time, this is Charlotte Greenwood saying, so long, friends, until we meet again. So long, neighbor, till next Sunday, I just say, oh, Lord. So long.
Speaking. Mr. Edward Arnold, who played the part of Mr. Reynolds, appeared to the courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer, producers of They Were Expendable. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show came to you from Hollywood. The Hallmark Charlotte Greenwood Show is written by Leon Meadow, Phil Cole, and High Alexander. The part of Sylvester is played by Leon Wolfe. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. Rio Clark at KECA, Los Angeles.